Hi, today we're going to talk about arrays. And an array is basically a series of elements of the same type placed in a contiguous memory location, or what I like to think of it as a pillbox. So if you've ever seen a pillbox that has different compartments for the week where you put your pills in, that's kind of what an array is. And each compartment holds a value. Now, for example, if we had an array called foo, and it was an integer array. So we have an int foo, and we have an array. It would look something like this if we had to draw it out. Our array would be called foo, and every location would be one right after the other, and we'd start at 0 and work our way to whatever size we declared it as. Now, if we had a container containing 5 integer values, we'd start at 0 and go to 4 because that'd be 5 values. And so an array must be declared before we use it, and you can do that with the type name and then the elements. So for example, if we were declaring foo, it would be integers because it's going to be an array of ints. So we would do int foo, so we're right here. And then we use the square brackets with the number 5 in there and then a semicolon. So this would declare an array called foo. It'd be integers, and it would have 5 values and 5 different holding areas, if you will. Now, depending on what you're learning or how you call them, some call them index. These little compartments call them index. So this would be index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. Others call them elements. So it'd be an element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or in this case, I just might call it compartment because it's just easier to kind of think of it in terms of a compartment. It's just holding it in place. It's not the actual number. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 aren't the actual numbers inside the compartment. It's just the name of, let's say, like the door on top, holding the values in. So if we are going to initialize an array with a set number, with set numbers in it, you would first declare it. So you do int foo, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here. Foo, and I'm saying there's going to be 5 values, and I'm going to initialize the 5 values. And I'm going to say with curly brackets equals curly brackets 16 to 7740 and 12,071. And what that's going to do is it's going to declare the statement and then put the numbers inside each compartment. So going in order, 16 goes into compartment 0, 2 goes in compartment 1, 77 goes in compartment 2, 40 goes in compartment 3, and 12,071 goes in compartment 4. So you notice you are using a combination of square brackets and curly brackets. So that's important to note. So please make sure when we're practicing, you go ahead and do that. So same with if we were going to create an array called bar, and it was going to be integers, and it was going to be 5 values. Here is an example where I'm only putting 3 values right now into the array. I'm going to put 10, 20, and 30. Now, clearly I don't have 5 values. So what it does is it sets it up as a bar. It puts the 10 in the first or the 0 compartment, 20 in the first compartment, 30 in the second compartment, and then zeros for the third and fourth compartment. Now you can also have where you're just initializing an empty set or an empty value. So it's just going to put zeros in for those compartments. And what that means is we can always put some kind of value in later. Okay. So again, if we, let's say, we're not sure how many values we're going to have, you can also declare an array without a set number inside the square brackets, but then you can put in the numbers in there. And so it automatically default to being 5 integers long or 5 values long. Same with here, if you do an int foo with nothing in the square brackets, but then declare or initialize that there are going to be 3 values, it would do 10, 20, 30. and it actually would only be 3 integers long. So an array can be an integer, it can be a character, it can be a string like a holding of different words. It could be floats or doubles. It doesn't just have to be ints. Okay. So for example now, if we want to access, if we want to see what value is in the array, you can type in the name and then the index or the element that you're indexing or the compartment that you're looking at. So for example, if we have foo is the name of the array, so we have foo, and we're going to say the index is at 2. And so if you think about drawing it out just like this picture here, you're going to find out what's in this location here. And you might actually say, I'm going to make a set number of 75 just to be in that location. And you can change that up as you go along. You can also assign a variable to that location. So you might first say, hey, in the array, foo, in the second index or third element, so it's the second index here, meaning foo2, the third element, 1, 2, 3, is 75, and then you might then say, hey, I'm going to make that equal to a variable x. Very rarely do you have that, but you might. And then here's some other examples if you take a look. You could do int foo5 is 5 values long. So that declares a new array. This then puts in 75 into the third compartment or the second index. So here are some other ways of declaring different things. And let's look at the example here. So let's look at the practice array 5. And we're going to go into here. And let's see, I'm going to go down to 11 practice. And we're going to declare an array called myArray. And we're going to input 3 different numbers in the array and then output. So let's see if we can practice that. So we know we're going to do some inputting, so we're going to need to do our include iostream. And then we're also using namespace, using int. All right, so let's go ahead and declare our array. And I'm going to use integers. So I'm going to use int myArray. And I said 3 different numbers. So I can go ahead and use the square brackets and put the number 3 in there. And then semicolons. So here, declare array and set size to be 3 integer values. I'm going to move this over here a little bit and maybe make it a little bigger for you. All right, so there we have my array, and I've called it my array. And what else do we have? We created an array called my array. It's going to input 3 integers. All right, so now we have to input 3 integers. And we can go ahead and do, so let's say cout, prompt our user here. enter. And maybe we want to enter first value. Right. Let's say enter first value. And we're going to cin. Cin. And let's put it in the array. So my array. Let's put it in the first value. Okay. And then let's do enter the second value. So I'm going to just copy and paste that. Enter second value. And I'm just checking here. And we're going to cin that one. And that's going to be 1. And we'll enter a third value. So I'm just going to copy that and paste. And this is going to be my third value. And all right, so we're entering 1, 2, 3 values. And then let's output all 3 numbers. So cout, oops, cout, oops, that should, ooh, not Mr. Sorry about that. That should be my. Cout, your numbers are. My array 0. My array. And my, oops, array. All right. All right, so let's run this. Okay, so I'm going to move this up. Enter the first value. Maybe I have 23. Enter the second value, 8. And the third value, 10. My numbers are 23, 8, and 10. So you notice that it holds the location. Now I could do them backwards, like if I wanted to print them out like, you know, my array 2, 1, and 0. I could do them back flipped. I could also add them. So like, let's say you maybe want to do the sum. So you might say, sum of the numbers is equal to, and maybe you add them. So you have my array 0. Plus my array array 2. And we'll run that. Value maybe is 10, 5, and 3. So my total should be 18. So let's see if that works. And there you go. And so it's holding the values that way.